Welcome to the Design Hacks section of the course. In this section, we're going to talk about basically some best practices for you and some easy ways for you to start designing your website. So first of all, we want to make sure that you define your purpose. So as you go and you set your site goals and your sub goals, and then you turn them into action steps, you take the action, you start developing your content items, you want to make sure that your user who's going to be using your website knows all that you're about. So if you're a business site, you want to make it clear who you are, who you're serving, and how to work with you. Personal website, clearly define the sections on your site and organize and label the content clearly on each page. You want to make it so the user knows where to find stuff. So for example, on my website, notice that I make it very clear to read. It's broken up into sections. It's not all big chunks of text. For example, in the About section, I have a little bit about services. I also have some different ways that people can see what I'm about. They can see photos and different things I offer very clearly. It's very clear and kind of easy to read for the most part. And then it's the most important thing here I'd like to say is that it's broken up into sections. There's no just running like huge things of text and just overwhelming color themes. It's kind of pleasing to the eye, I suppose, or at least I tried to make it that way. And so I think the main idea here is just to make sure that your reader is easy. They're easily able to find things and find what they want. So I'd say moving on, keep in mind less is more. So one best practice is to stick to only a few different fonts and colors. Like I was saying, you want to break up large pieces of text with spacing and section everything off. Creating different sections, make sure that everything is easy to read. Another thing to note is using fewer drop-down menus is a great idea because that makes sure that people don't get overwhelmed. So I only have five top nav items. I have one opt-in, okay? And then that's just an example of keeping it less is more. Because when people have too many options, then they will take no action because they're overwhelmed. So we want to avoid clutter. So we're going to move on to make it fun. You can still make things interesting while keeping it simple. And here's an example of that. So I can show you later on how to do this, but you can make sections of your website full of information. Notice there's tons of information here, but the fact that it's broken up into different sections is more organized. So there's lots of things like here, the blog page. Everything's uniform. I'm sure I could improve on many things, but for the most part, everything is uniform and generally easy to read. So going back to making it fun, we can make it fun with different ways. So you can always have fun by choosing your specific color theme. You can choose different stock images that you like. You definitely want to consider choosing these things based on your target audience, unless you're a personal website. But either way, there's always room to make it brilliant looking despite making it very clear to read. So we'll keep that in mind for the next lesson. I've provided 2 related articles for you to read talking about those tips. So feel free to check those out. And then tip number 4, don't be afraid to make mistakes. So we're all just learning every day, you know? The best part is you can always edit things and you can come back and you can change things You can figure out what's working and what's not. Don't let the fear stop you. Just keep going, keep moving forward. And this is something that I used to struggle with, but I'm here to tell you, if you follow this one tip, you will definitely be unstoppable. So just keep on, keep going. And if you have any other questions, I've included a ton of articles related to design and different ways of setting up different pages of your website and things about photos and text and things like that. I've included links to those in this lesson. So I'll see you in the next lesson.